Niger is a landlocked country in West Africa. It's a unitary state bordered by Libya to the northeast, Chad to the east, Nigeria to the south, Benin and Burkina Faso to the southwest, Mali to the west, and Algeria to the northwest. It covers a land area of almost 1,270,000 kilometers, making it one of the largest landlocked countries in West Africa. Now, I want to make sure you don't get this mixed up with Nigeria. This is Niger, Niger. And some things in here will make you think this. I'm still talking about Nigeria, but again, this is Niger that I'm talking about. And it's actually over 80% of the land area lies in the Sahara. It's predominantly Muslim population of around 25 million. And most live in clusters in the south and west of the country. The capital, Niamey, is located in Niger's southwest corner along the namesake Niger River. Now, the economy of Niger centers on subsistence crops like livestock and some of the world's largest uranium deposits. In 2021, Niger was the main supplier of uranium to the EU, followed by Kazakhstan and Russia. Now, drought cycles, desertification, a 2.9% population growth rate, and a drop in the world demand for uranium had actually undercut the economy. Now, the GDP per capita is only $619 a year, or around less than $2 a day. So this is a very poor country. Tax rates are as high as 35%, and you're taxed on your worldwide income if you are domiciled in Niger. So they have a domicile and a non-domicile program. So you can control your taxes in this country. Also, remember that when countries have a real low GDP per capita, you also have a very, very low labor cost rate, assuming you can find the same type of people that can do the same type of work where you're at right now. But a lot of people, they miscount taxes, and they put taxes ahead of labor costs. But if you've got a big labor force, this is something you might want to look at, especially if it's if you're looking at call centers, things like this. You can get your labor costs down maybe 90-95% from what you're paying. Now, the VAT's 19%. Also, folks, if you can do us a big favor, we don't monetize this channel, so please do us a big favor here, is hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen right here. And so Google will get more videos out to more people. And please give us a thumbs up if you like the video. YouTube's algorithm factors in likes as a signal of content, quality, and user engagement. Higher likes contribute to the better search rankings and increased visibility. I would really appreciate your help if you can do this for us. All right, now there is ways that you can actually get citizenship in different ways, but the most popular way is naturalization, which can be granted to persons who have resided in the territory for a sufficient period of time to confirm they understand the customs and the traditions of Niger and are integrated in the society. Now, however, the residency requirement is restrictive, requiring that the applicant provide a certificate of their original nationality and a proof of residency permit in Niger for 10 years to actually apply for the passport. Now, persons who have performed exceptional service to the nation, listen, this is real important, okay? Because a lot of y'all might have either a civil or criminal issue. African countries typically actually, they waiver passes on this more often than you would think, okay? That also, there's quite a few African countries that are in need of money, and if they have it written in their law, like I'm telling you right here, that they're saying that persons who have performed exceptional service to the nation may naturalize without a residency period. And the amount that you pay is negotiable with the country, okay? So it could be a real small amount. Depends on whose office at that time. And it also depends, believe it or not, on the lawyer that you hire. That has a lot to do with it. I mean, I've done other videos on that, okay? But the key is what you do not want to do is go to a country like this and bring in cash to the president or somebody further down and doing stuff that's not in a contract form, and you're just giving up money under the table. That's against the law, I can tell you, and you can get all kinds of trouble on that, okay? You want to make sure it's above. It's got to be stated in the law, first of all, and then you're going to have a lawyer and a contract drawn up to make sure there's no problems that come up later. Now, why would you want to do this? Because the visa-free travel is pretty low in this country. Well, several reasons. Number one is you might have trouble getting a passport, number one, okay, because you got some sort of background issues. And maybe you want a passport that's quick, okay, and you don't want to pay as much for it. This is another option that you got right here. And there are a few countries in Africa that will actually negotiate. Depends on what you're going to do and how many different things you're going to do. You might want to come in with a small lump sum only, or you might want to come in with a small lump sum and hire a few people, okay? And there's so many ways you can negotiate this. Now, let's look at loss of nationality. Now, there are no provisions in the nationality laws for, they call them Nigerian, but it's spelled with N-I-G-E-R-I-A-N instead of N-I-G-A-R-I-A-N. So again, this is Niger, not Nigeria, so you don't get confused. But there are no provisions in the nationality law for Nigerian nationals to renounce their nationality. Nigerians of origin may lose their nationality for performing actions on behalf of another country without authorization. Now, authorized persons may be denaturalized in Niger for disloyalty to the state, committing crimes against the state or state security, or for committing ordinary crimes. Persons who previously had nationality were not deprived of it and wish to repatriate must request restatement, which is, or actually reinstatement, which is discretionary. Now let's look at dual nationality, because this is real important, folks. You need to make sure that the country allows dual citizenship. Don't get rid of your other passports to go with any passport. I'm telling you, that's the worst thing you can do. Since 2014, Niger's allowed nationals to hold dual nationality. That's a key ingredient, so they do allow that. You can control your taxes here, which is real nice. Your labor costs would be real low. So it has a lot of things. And remember, and the taxes are high, but it depends on how you control your money, your inflow, okay? Now, Nigerian citizens had visa-free or visa-free on arrival only on 57 countries and territories, ranking this passport in terms of freedom of travel, only 84. So you're not going to have visa-free to the Schengen countries. And if you're going to be getting out of all passports except for this one, you're going to need to have another one if you really want to travel throughout Europe freely, because otherwise you're going to be getting visas everywhere. Now, I've told people this on many, many videos. It's real important that you internalize this. You might even want to take notes on it. Is remember that a good fast-track type citizenship program has these following traits, and don't bypass them when you're making your selections, okay? That is, get a second passport. You know that you can get as many that you can get, as long as you can get it, as long as you don't have any sort of civil or criminal past. Now, there could be a bypass on this with an African passport, because a lot of cases, their passports already, you don't have a lot of visa-free countries anyway. So for them to lose something, for the Schengen countries to come back and say, hey, we're gonna cancel your all your visa-free to our countries. Well, they already don't have visa-free travel to those countries, so they're a lot more lenient in getting a person accepted, because they've already got a low passport or visa-free travel number of countries that you can travel to anyway. So they don't have all this pressure and stuff. But if you're looking for good passports, especially in the fast track program in the Caribbean, I'm going to tell you, if you got a civil criminal issue, there's a good chance you're going to get turned down. This is the one I'm bringing this out here. Now, a lot of residency investment countries do not go by their statutory requirement after the minimum residency requirements have been made. And this is true here, and this is an African passport. And I can tell you, folks, remember that there are two ways that I'm showing you can qualify. One is by doing extraordinary things, and that will let you get the passport. Another way is you can put in 10 years. But I can tell you, folks, 10 years in an African country, I'm going to tell you, you're not going to get the passport in 10 years, okay? I'm being realistic with you. Count on maybe 15 years, okay? That's why you come in, and that's why the fast track programs in the Caribbean allow you to contribute money, but that's in the actual law, what you're contributing, and they're going to speed up your time of getting the passport, okay? But that's the advantage of going in and putting a lump sum down. Okay, now, but just don't ever depend on a residency by investment program anywhere. I can tell you, there are very few countries in the world that I would even depend on. And I've given you a list of them, and it's a small list of countries in the world that they go by their statutory time period. But make sure the country that you're applying for has no military requirements to get the passport. That's the key thing. Otherwise, you're going to indoctrinate yourself, depending on your age, your children and your grandkids and everybody else that comes on down the line. And that can make a big detriment depending on how many wars that country's involved with. U.S. is in wars every friggin' 20 years. You can't go back more than 20 years since the 1700s that the U.S. hasn't been in a war. And also make sure that the tax system that's in place for that country is either has a territorial or a pure tax saving status or has a non-dom type system that does not tax worldwide income on investment income. Now, as I mentioned before, one reason I like Antigua and St. Kitts is they not only don't tax income outside the country, they don't tax income inside the country because there's no individual income tax as far as individual income tax. They do have import duties, stamp duties, and things like this. But that's the ultimate. If you look at the flag theory, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com. Look at the top bar that says flag theory. You got to memorize that. That's what you ought to be looking for when you're trying to get a second passport. Okay, these are key things that you want to be looking for. And again, non-dom system, territorial tax system, or pure tax saving status, those are the type of countries you want to be looking for to get a passport. And make sure they allow dual citizenship. Don't have military requirements. These are key things that you want to look at. And they need to have substantial visa-free travel unless you want to go with a passport like this. That's a lot easier maybe to get, okay? And then make sure if there is a language requirement that you are ready or fluent in that, language before applying, or don't apply at all. One thing that's nice about these fast track programs, whether it's the Caribbean or, an African passport that you work out a deal, you don't have any sort of language requirement. You just pay the money and, you work the deal from there, okay? It makes it a lot easier. I see more people that go in residency programs. They never learn the language. They're there for 10 or 15 years, and it ends up being a total waste of time. Remember to learn a different language. If you got a business, it's going to take out a lot of time for your business. I would always tell you to think twice if you're going to have to learn a second language and take a test with it to get that passport. Myself, I stay away from those. That's up to you, though, if you're ambitious enough to want to do that. Always verify that dual citizenship is allowed or don't engage in that program. That's another thing I like about the fast track programs, but a lot of these countries don't allow dual citizenship that I go through that are residency by investment programs. And I'm going to tell you something, you want to make sure that you're allowed to have dual citizenship. I can't tell you how important it is, folks. If you've got a passport with one country, and I've told people this before, and you are maybe not in that particular country where you got the passport, but you got a residency somewhere else. Let's say it's in Panama. And you get in some sort of trouble in that country where you've got that passport, okay? If they cancel your passport, you might think, well, hell, I'm in Panama, big deal. What happens when your residency period ends in Panama if you don't have citizenship there, okay? You're going to have to get that passport in that other country. You got the problem. They're going to have to renew that passport. Most cases, they will not renew it unless you solve that problem that you got, which means you're stranded in that country because when that passport comes for expiration, it's going to expire, okay? And then you can't even stay in that other country legally that you're in, let's say it's Panama, because they're going to require you to show that passport again, okay? And if it's expired, they're going to say, hey, bye-bye, you got to leave the country. Okay, and they're going to fine you before you leave because then you overstayed your time. If it's in Singapore, they can flog you. Okay, all kinds of penalties you can have in some of these countries. But these are some things that you got to look for, and you want to get a passport that has as many visa-free countries that you can have, and make sure they've got at least the Schengen countries. Now, this African passport does not. I mean, Niger does not have the visa-free travel to the Schengen countries. That's why you need to have another passport. Okay. But again, the advantage to this is the cost could be substantially less, okay? And if you've got a background problem, this maybe could help you out quite a bit, depending on what it is, Because now the fast track programs, folks, if you got any sort of issue, I had a guy had a full pardon and they turned him down. Full pardon is like, it's like you don't even have a track record. Okay, and they still turn him down in St. Kitts. So this is how strict they've got. Also remember that a lot of these countries reserve their most lucrative business opportunities, like life insurance, real estate, retail, all kinds of different businesses for citizens. So if you go to a country and you get residency by investment, and then you start to get in one of these businesses and you try to do it, and they say, hey, you can't get in this type of business because this is a very lucrative business that we only allow citizens of the country, and it takes you another 5 or 10 years to get the passport. In Panama, you don't even know how long it's going to take. They're so undependable. Then, you're stuck, man. You got to find something else that you can get into that's not restricted only for citizens. So you got to remember this stuff. These are some of the things you need to be looking for, okay? I remember, I'm not going to mention the guy's name, but he's done quite a bit. Everybody's heard of him. He's done a lot of videos. He went and got just to give you an example, he went and got a St. Lucia passport. And let me tell you something before I even tell you that. Folks, if you got a bunch of passports, first of all, don't be telling people like this guy did which countries you got your passports in. That one of the reasons you're getting multiple passports, okay, is you want privacy. You don't want to be going on YouTube and spilling the beans to everybody, Tom, Dick, and Harry on all your passports. That's just stupid, okay? And this is what this guy did. He gave his St. Lucia passport. He tells everybody his passports, and then he went. And I thought, when he got that, I said, why in the world did he get a St. Lucia passport? They got an income tax. I mean, you can get one in Antigua or St. Kitts, just a little bit more money. Unless the guy, and this was not that much difference. And he didn't get a St. Kitts or Antigua passport. He got one in St. Lucia. Well, guess what happened? A couple of years later, and he said he didn't have that much money at that time. I thought, no, it's not that much difference. But then he goes and gets an Antigua passport. Antigua, why? Didn't have an income tax. The visa-free travel is almost a duplicate. Antigua's got a few more countries visa-free, and then in St. Kitts, they got a little bit more visa-free countries than Antigua. But he does it for the tax. He mentioned he did it for, they don't have an income tax. And you're doubling over your same countries. And remember, too, St. Kitts and St. Lucia are all part of the Eastern Caribbean Union countries. I'm going to tell you something, folks. You're not really protected that much when you're going in a union of countries that are in the same union together, that have treaties and stuff, okay? That's not smart. And he just basically threw $100,000 down a rat hole, okay? You could have taken that $100,000 and put it Bitcoin or Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway. There's so many places, Boo ETF. I mean, there's so many places you could put it. It went all down the drain, okay? That's what I'm trying to tell you, that when you're looking for passports, again, go look up the flag theory and memorize that. Get a passport in a tax haven country, okay? All right, number one. And number two is make sure it's got the most visa-free travel that you can have for a fast-track program if you want to get one that's quick, okay? For the least amount of money. Obviously, you can get one. Malta's got one, but it's not really a fast-track program. It could take you, a year and a half, 2 years to get the passport and over $1 million to get it. I don't think it's a good deal to begin with. But these are some things that I would be looking for this. And, and remember, too, that, again, like I mentioned to you, I can't overemphasize this enough, but language issues block so many people from getting passports. I would tell you, if you don't know the language on a country you're going there to get the passport, skip it. Go to a country where you can speak the language already. Folks, you can do us a big favor if you don't mind doing this, and that is that we do not monetize this channel, so please do me a big favor and hit the subscribe button right on your screen right here, and you'll get new videos automatically. And also, if you have a question or something like this, just send it to us. We'd be glad to get back with you. And our website, again, is www.citizenshipquickly.com. If you want to legally get your income taxes to zero, how to get a second passport as quick as 4 to 8 months. Again, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and ask for some help. And again, folks, help us, because if we get this algorithm on our channel up, These videos will get out to more people and it'll help us out a bunch. And I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.